friends, followers, people of the internet. I'm back to read to you more from the Carolinian. Super excited. It is Black History Month, so we've got some special stories and things going on in here. So this is volume 85, number 15. And the headline is, America's Greatest Division Isn't Racial, It's Financial. Pretty good graphic right there. We love it. Alrighty. So, we've got some interesting stories on here. And one of mine is right on the front page, so we'll start there. But it's also talking about February 1. Shout out to the Aggies. Shout out to North Carolina A&T State University. There's a piece here talking about the sit-in where the 4 A&T freshmen sat down at the lunch counter. Shout out to A&T, Aggie Pride. So, my article is The Currency of Attention. Are you spending yours wisely or recklessly? We are all familiar with the concept of time management. Meticulously planning our days, weeks, and years, setting goals and striving to achieve them. But in our hyper-connected world, there's another crucial resource that we need to manage. Our attention. Okay? Just as we carefully budget our finances, we must also budget our attention, recognizing that it too is a valuable currency. My question is, what are you paying attention to? In today's digital landscape, we're constantly bombarded with information and images, vying for our precious focus. Clickbait headlines scream for our likes, sensational stories grab our fleeting interest, and social media feeds scroll endlessly. Okay? Demanding our engagement. But are these things that truly deserve our attention? Are we investing our mental energy wisely, or are we squandering it on fleeting distractions? The truth is, whether we're spending money or attention, we're making an investment. We're giving our resources to something, someone. Every click, every scroll, every shared post is a transaction. We're paying with our time, our focus, and ultimately our mental well-being. Now more than ever, it's vital that we become conscious consumers of information. We must discern between the superficial and the substantive, between the sensational and the significant. Instead of being drawn in by clickbait siren call, we should focus on the actions, the real-world impacts, the things that truly matter. This means prioritizing our responsibilities, nurturing our families, and focusing on the areas where we can actually make a difference. It means being mindful of how we spend our money and how we spend our attention. Both are finite resources, and both deserve careful consideration. As we navigate the ever-shifting landscape of current events and evolving government structures, it's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of news and commentary. But it's precisely in these times of change that we must be most vigilant about where we direct our attention. Are we getting lost in the noise, or are we focusing on the message? Are we reacting to every headline, or are we thoughtfully considering the bigger picture? Cultivating attention management is not easy. It requires conscious effort and a willingness to disconnect from the constant stream of information and the discipline to prioritize what truly matters. Okay? What truly matters. It means asking ourselves tough questions. Is this information useful? Is it relevant to my life? Does it empower me, or does it distract me? By becoming more mindful, we direct our attention. We reclaim control of our mental space and invest in the things that bring us value, purpose, joy. We can choose to be informed without being overwhelmed, engaged without being consumed. The currency of attention is ours to spend. Let's make sure we're spending it wisely. All right. reading from the Carolinian. That was the first article that I wrote for our most recent issue that just came out today. There's an article here about the Carolinian visits Ben's Chili Bowl in D.C. Shout out to Ben's Chili Bowl. Project Fight, addressing human trafficking in North Carolina. We've got some information here about, beautiful woman crowned Miss Fayetteville. Plans in the works and troops on the way. Military assumes familiar role. And that's about the budget crisis, the border crisis. Talking about Target. Annual Youth Symposium in Raleigh. Money, Money, Money. It's the Raleigh Girls Club. Waffle House is passing along the price to the consumer. 50 cents. You got to pay an extra 50 cents if you get eggs at Waffle House. So I'm going to just go get me a waffle because what in the world? What are we doing? All right. Oh, here's another article that I wrote in the paper that made it this week. This is a citizen spotlight on Christopher Murphy. Christopher Murphy is a mixed media artist in Chapel Hill, North Carolina. And let's read about him. Christopher Murphy is an artist that makes an art form of tech trash and gives it purpose. So I saw him at the museum. He had this sculpture with all these wires and stuff in it. And I was like, what's going on? And he was like, well, any technology you throw away lasts forever because clearly all this tech, tech materials are not biodegradable. And so he's making art from that. So from engineer to eco-artist, Christopher Murphy is on a mission to transform technology trash into art. We met at the 24th Annual African American Cultural Celebration. I was intrigued by an unusual artistic sculpture and had to ask a few questions. Chris explained that from circuit boards to discarded cell phones, as an artist, he sees potential where others see trash. His intricate sculptures, crafted entirely from e-waste, aren't just visually striking, they're a powerful commentary on our new relationship with technology and its environmental impact, okay? Because there's a huge impact from the environment when it comes to tech. Christopher Murray's journey began as an eco-artist, began unconventionally. Initially an engineer, art was his post-work hobby, a way to unwind and express himself through collage. A chance submission to 311 Gallery opening call changed everything. My collage got in, he recalls, and I decided to keep trying to make and exhibit art. His chosen medium, discarded technology, speaks volumes. Electronic waste, he explained, is some of the most harmful trash we produce. E-waste, composed of various metals, leaches, toxins into the soil, poisoning our water and food. The problem is so severe that wealthy nations, including the United States, ship this waste overseas, attempting to displace the issue. Chris's artistic process began in the form of a sketch, determining the form he wishes to emulate, and planning the necessary structural elements. The specific tech materials come later. I rarely have an idea of what technology materials I'll be using before I start, he says. Once I have a design, I go through my supplies of all types of old tech and what feels right until the piece is finished. So, Chris goes on to talk about being at school at UNC Chapel Hill. He's doing his master's in fine art. He talks about how hard it is to source his materials because a lot of the dump sites don't let him in, so he depends on people giving him stuff, family members and other folks making donations. So it's really interesting. The last piece that I had in the most recent issue of the Carolinian is Oberlin Village honors civil rights champion with a historic marker. Willis Graves, he was very instrumental in the civil rights movement. He was part of a groundbreaking lawsuit that stopped housing discrimination, which was a seed that led to Brown versus Board of Education. And for those of you who don't know, Oberlin Village is a historic black community in Raleigh, North Carolina that was basically gentrified and taken over. But there's still some historic homes there. There's landmarks. This is a brand new landmark that was placed there. And one of the homes in front of this home where the landmark is was moved and preserved. And now that home is actually the home of Preservation North Carolina. So they tell the story of the family. They tell the story of the community. And this is about that. So Oberlin Village, a cherished community in the heart of Raleigh, recently celebrated a significant monument in its history with the unveiling of a North Carolina Civil Rights Trail marker. The dedication ceremony honored Willis Bill Graves, 1890 to 1966, a prominent civil rights attorney whose work to dismantle racial housing discrimination reverberated across the nation. The event held at 817 Oberlin Road, the site of Graves' birth and childhood home, now serving as Preservation North Carolina statewide headquarters, brought together community leaders, members of the Graves family, and history enthusiasts. The marker, a testament to Graves' enduring legacy, was unveiled by North Carolina African American Heritage Commission Director Adrienne Nedre, and she shared, "I am grateful that we, as a commission, are able to take part and join the community in physically marking this history. I cannot stress enough the importance of learning about it. There are so many stories of everyday people across our state. We don't often have an opportunity to know them and to know their stories and to mark their great work. So to have an opportunity to share the work of someone like Mr. Graves in front of such a beautifully well-preserved home is just an incredible honor." There are two other stops on the trail in Oberlin. One is very close to us. There is a chapel marking the Holtz family, and one talks about desegregation of Raleigh schools. There is one in Village District, formerly known as Cameron Village. Right in the middle of the village, marking a sit-in that happened. Willis Bill Graves' journey began in Oberlin Village before he went to attend St. Aug University and Shaw Universities in Raleigh. He later earned a law degree from Howard University Law in 1919. He became a civil rights attorney in Detroit, Michigan, where he began his work, and it intersected with that of Thurgood Marshall. Together, they collaborated on Shelley v. Kramer and a landmark Supreme Court case that declared racially restrictive housing covenants unenforceable. This pivotal decision marked an early and crucial victory in the fight for civil rights and has since served as a precedent in numerous landmark cases, including the monumental Brown v. Board of Education. The placement of the marker at the Graves childhood home underscores the connection between Raleigh's Oberlin Village community and the broader national civil rights movement. It serves as a powerful reminder that even national figures like Graves often have local roots that shape their path and their impact. Benjamin Briggs, President and CEO of Preservation North Carolina, emphasized the importance of such markers in revealing the true history woven into the fabric of communities. North Carolina's history is all around us, Briggs stated, and markers such as this one reveal history in our own backyards. This marker in Graves Fieldhouse will serve as touchstones to an important chapter in our nation's history. The contributions made by Mr. Graves remain relevant and important to our shared past and will be an inspiration for us into our future. The North Carolina Civil Rights Trail, an initiative of North Carolina African American Heritage Commission, aims to highlight key locations and individuals instrumental in the civil rights movement. Through these markers, the trail educates residents and visitors alike. Preserving and promoting this vital chapter in our state's history, funding for the Willis Graves marker was generously provided by William G. Pomeroy Foundation. Following the dedication ceremonies, attendees were invited to PNC's headquarters. So, yeah, it was a beautiful event. It was very exciting. And it was just good to see respect and homage paid to someone who really made a big difference in the community. So we have Black History inserts in the Carolina right now, in the Carolinian. So there's all kind of fun stuff in here. The history of Black Wall Street is in here. It talks about Sheriff John H. Baker, who was played for the Los Angeles Rams, so that's exciting. Some information about different fraternities and sororities doing things. So yeah, if you're interested. Oh, and then my girl L'Oreal is on the back. So April Mile wrote about L'Oreal and the Raleigh Aces, which is a women's semi-professional basketball team, which is so awesome. And yeah, so L'Oreal and I played high school basketball together, and she is still playing. Like, ball is life for her. We love to see it. So, thank you, thank you, thank you.